Weekly at this time. We talk with the economic development here in Mason County. We got the chairman of the board in studio this morning, James Thomas. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Jeff. I am fabulous. How are you?
Good. And this upcoming weekend will be full of lots of folks coming into town, and these events like Oyster Fest, before we get into some other topics, these events like Oyster Fest really do put a nice spotlight on the community, help folks. They come in, see perhaps different parts of the area that maybe they had not been familiar with before, and really kind of show a good hometown, neighborly vibe when tens of thousands of people coming into town.
They certainly do. And wouldn't it be a wonderful thing if we had a nice hotel right here in the heart of Shelton, where these folks could stay overnight and breakfast at our fine restaurants in the morning, see some of the sights before they go back to their pitiful lives in Seattle and places like that.
And they can come and spend all their money, and we'll see you next year.
And, perhaps I'll use that to segue into something that I was going to save for the end of our conversation. Okay. But what I really wanted to talk about today is some of the efforts at business recruitment that we're making.
Okay.
And one of the things that has been high on my list since I took the chairman's role is getting a hotel in here.
Sure.
And I want you to know that is a more difficult thing than it sounds like. Building even a modest hotel of, say, 100 rooms is about a $10 million proposition.
Wow.
Talking an outfit into investing $10 million in our community is a heavy lift.
Sure.
But we're getting some interest, and this is the sort of thing that isn't a one-time. You meet with somebody, you shake hands, and we have a hotel. It's a little more involved than that, but we have made some good contacts, and I will be having a conversation with a vice president at a large hotel holding company a little later on this month. And they have a couple of properties, brand names that I think would be great for our community, and I can't wait to be able to tell you a little bit more about it.
You kind of got this notion in my ear last week, and so I had been thinking about it all week long, and it makes a lot of sense. There are a couple unique characteristics to Mason County, the Shelton area in particular, that a hotel would be a good fit for, that would perhaps not be a good fit for other communities. Think about this. You got the State Patrol Academy. You got people coming in. You always see State Patrol cars, vehicles coming in from the 101, making their way into town for training. There's always training that has to be done. We talk with the sheriffs. We talk with the police. Yep. They're always training. Well, at the end of the day, they have to head back to Olympia, right, to stay.
That's right.
For most of the cases.
There's nowhere here for them.
Especially if the hotels, motels that are here in the area are full, they'll have to head back. So that is a year-round training facility.
Right.
We got Kapowson. People come in from all over the country to skydive with the great folks up there. And that would be a great place. Come back at the end of the day, stay here.
Absolutely.
There was a third one that I felt was pretty unique too. Oh, the prison. That's right.
Sure.
So people come in to visit the folks that are there, and they need a place to stay as well.
Attorneys, family.
Sure.
Yeah. And don't forget Ridge Motorsports.
Oh, yeah, that's another one.
They're doing 350, I think it is, events a year. Obviously more than one a day in some cases. Yeah. And Fred Wright was telling me the other day that roughly 90% of the people who visit the Ridge are from outside the Puget Sound area.
And they got to have a place to stay.
Absolutely.
They're not going to stay in those fancy cars that they bring.
No, would you like to see the parking lot of our hotel? And
Yeah, I mean, just think about, those are some real unique features to the county that would, I would think, lend themselves well to a revolving hotel business. It just makes sense.
I think so too, and it can be one of the core assets of really exploiting our recreational opportunities here. You know, we are the gateway to the Olympics. There are so many things to do here, from hunting and fishing to hiking, and I canoed in my day. Now I guess everyone kayaks.
Paddle boards or something like that.
Paddle boards, sure. So, yeah, we will continue to work on that diligently until we are able to do a deal. It may require putting a group of Sheltonians together to get some skin in the game to put this thing together. And if that's what it takes, I will reach out to the folks that I know, certainly, and see if we can't do that.
Very interesting. What else, when it comes to business recruitment, did you want to talk about?
Well, later on today, actually, I'll be speaking with a pharmaceutical company VP in Poland, of all places, and they are looking at putting together a small, initially an import and distribution facility on the west coast of the United States, and they are naive to this market completely. Sure. So we have some, because I happen to be in the medical business, I'll be able to offer them some help in getting registered with the FDA and being aware of some of the unique record keeping that they'll be required of. And my vice president of operations is also a certified ISO 13485 auditor, and this is the regulatory framework that FDA uses.
Okay.
So I would be happy to make her available to help them get situated. So this is one of a number of contacts that we're having with foreign companies. Another that I spoke with about a week ago is a European manufacturer of something called MEMS, which are micro-electromechanical systems. This particular company's area of expertise is acoustic transducers, very small miniaturized speakers like the one that if you could, you can see Jeff now.
Yeah, the ones
like
in
the
my
one
ear,
that's
right?
in Jeff's ear. Yeah,
normal headphones from. I mean, every cell phone sends these out with these. You got to have a headphones, right?
Absolutely. And there's our more for hearing aids and really sophisticated uses. And when we first started talking, where's Mason County and why should I care? But then I thought about Alpha Test, a company that is in the business park at the port, and they make very sophisticated microelectronic test clips for people in the computer business and whatnot. We talked a little bit about that, and that really turned the conversation around.
Wow.
So this guy will be visiting the United States in November, and our county commissioners, who I am happy to tell you we have some of the best leadership that our community has enjoyed in a long time. They got together and all signed a letter inviting this guy to come and visit Mason County and sit down with them and some of the other community leaders and see how we can welcome them into Mason County.
Tell me about how much of this work that you do is, somebody or you're in a business that can do somewhat business, the kind of the transactional friendships over the years that you've met, the contacts that you've made, things like that.
Not as much as I would wish it to be. We are using a company called ROI out of Quebec, Canada. To generate a lot of these leads. I talk up Mason County all I can, but being realistic, there is a very limited number of businesses that are looking to relocate. It's not like I can call a friend of mine in Boca Raton and say,
Get
you
up
know
here.
what, Pat? You really need to move your business up here to the Pacific Northwest.
Trust me. It'd be perfect for you.
Yeah. It is such a tremendous investment to move a company,
Right.
that there has to be some reason that's forcing them to look at relocation.
Here in the county, I know that if you look, statewide, people are looking for land up and down I-5. That can be spendy. That causes them to look elsewhere, up outside the corridor just a little bit. I can see how that would, people are definitely at least have Mason County perhaps on their mindset somewhere.
Sure.
Like you were saying, somebody calls from Poland. Mason what? County
Right.
what? I don't know. You're going to have
Yeah.
to start at zero and work my way through this whole process.
Absolutely. And you have to focus on what our assets really are. You can only use smoke and mirrors so far.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, these are sophisticated business people. They understand what their needs are, and we have to find that set of needs that meshes fairly well with the assets that we offer. And one of the great assets that we offer is one of the finest places to live
Sure.
around.
Yeah.
I think of Mason County as sort of the soul of Washington State, and we need to start putting it together that way. We're close enough to both Seattle and Portland, Oregon. If you need to be close to big cities. I have a second home in Ridgefield, Washington, which is just across the river from Portland.
Yeah.
And I drive down there almost every week. It's not that far.
It's not. We went down to Portland on Saturday, and we left at 7 or something. We're down by 9:15, and
Right.
you got the whole day. It really is
Absolutely.
fast. It really is fast to get down there.
So we work hard to sell the fact that we have an able workforce, a welcoming public community. One of the things that, and I'm probably getting a little ahead of myself talking about this now, but we will be putting together 2 developers conferences, one for North Mason and one for South Mason, to clear some of the hurdles to development out of the way for folks who would like to build commercial centers or residential complexes. We need, for instance, multifamily housing in this county.
Yeah.
We need it badly.
We surely do. That's a good conversation for the next time here when we talk weekly at this time with the Economic Development Council of Mason County. You can find them online at choosemason.com. James, good to see you.
Always a pleasure.
Have a
Jeff.
good day.
Thanks, you too.